Guys, I am at UEI in Bakersfield, California, and today we're going to be talking about some of the things that you might be doing during the interview process. And my job is to help you become better in your interview. Now, there's a couple of things you need to know. As the trade schools, every quarter or whatever, they graduate hundreds of students. And there's a lot of people vying for a job, right? And so a lot of people out there looking for a job. So you have to set yourself apart from everybody else. I mean, the goal for me is to see you at a parts house a year or two later and be like, oh my God, dude, like I love what I do. I bought a house, I bought a car, I got a great life. And so to do that, you're gonna have to have your interview skills ready to go. And there's certain things that, like for me as a service manager, that I look for during that interview process. So I'm going to put some stuff up on the board. I apologize if it doesn't look dark enough with the whiteboard, and I apologize for the spelling. That's why I went into air conditioning, because honestly it was air conditioning or McDonald's for the rest of my life, which is okay, but I would have ended up cleaning bathrooms. So some of the things that I'm going to look for is going to be one is time and meeting your appointment schedule. Okay, how did that come out? Looks pretty good. I may switch over to black just for it's better. Meeting your appointment schedule. Second thing is going to be appearance. Three could be knowledge. Four could be a time you meet your appointment, appearance, knowledge. Is going to be experience, and we're going to talk about that. Experience. Five could be tattoos and piercings. Right now, a lot of guys are like, tattoos and piercings. Well, just wait, don't freak out. We'll talk about it. 6 is going to be your MVR or your DMV. Okay. 7 could be social media. So far, so good. Social media. 8, MVR, social media. We want to talk about wages. And then we'll make notes as we go. Like I said, and we'll talk about each one of them, explain each one of them. And then off to the side, I'm going to put this number down. I'm going to put $45,000. Now everybody always focuses on the $45,000. They're like, oh crap, that's how much I'm going to make a year. Well, maybe, but we really want you to think about that $45,000. And if it's not showing up too well on the green, let's get some red in there, $45,000. Okay, so you guys make a 9 o'clock appointment. You're showing it for the service manager, the office says you're going to be there at 9. Map out that time that it's going to take you to get there. So if you say, oh, on a Sunday, I'll map it out on Google Maps and it's only going to take me like 30 minutes. Well, remember, on a Monday, the traffic's going to be bad. There's going to be a lot more people on the road. So you really want to make sure that you leave yourself some time. As a service manager, we hate late. Like, if you can remember that term, we hate late, or I hate late. I hate late. So make sure that you get there 15 to 20 minutes on time, or before time, and leave yourself enough time to, calm down. You're not all sweaty. Make sure that you bring some books with you. You review the books, review the knowledge in your car or your truck, and you're ready to go. So make sure you're on time. Now, if you show up 2 hours before the interview and you're like sitting there stalking me and every person is going through, that could be a little creepy, because remember, the office staff will tell me, or the service manager, like, your 7 o'clock or 9 o'clock appointment's been here since 7. He's creeping everybody out. So, if you're really super early, maybe pull around the corner to a McDonald's or a Del Taco or Taco Bell or somewhere, and then, kind of get yourself together, get a bottle of water, get yourself prepared, and then 20 minutes or so before the interview time, wheel into the parking lot and be ready to go. So again, I hate late. I hate it. So make sure that you're on time and you meet your appointment. Now, when you meet your appointment, and we're going to add some stuff as we go, this is another way to be prepared. You're going to want to make sure that you bring a black pen. The reason being for that is a lot of times that I'll have apprentices come in, they will have no pen, I'll give them their application, they have nothing to fill it out with, and what does that tell me as a service manager? You may not be prepared, and you may have a hard time being prepared on the jobs. So don't bring just one black pen, like bring 2 or 3 in case one fails during the application process. So bring 2 or 3 black pens and be ready to go. The second thing I'm going to look at is your appearance. Now this is going to be a little weird one, what I'm going to tell you. For me personally, if you showed up in a Taco Bell outfit and you just got off work, I would be totally fine with that because that tells me that you're working. But if you've had all day to prepare and you show up in shorts and a wife beater tank top and you look horrible and your face is a mess and you haven't shaven, that's going to be horrible because the minute you walk through the door as a service manager, I'm looking at you of how you're going to look in my uniform, how you're going to look going out on a service call, and that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the face, I'm looking at the hair, I'm saying, you know what, this person is going to look great in my uniform, and that's what we want to see. So make sure that you spend some time. Now, if you've been off, it's a Monday morning, you've had all weekend. I've had guys and men and women show up in suits and business suits. That's fine. It's that whole thing about dress to impress. I'm totally cool with that. If you show up filthy dirty and you're like, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon and you've been on a construction site and you're like, Mike, I'm coming right from a job site, or Mr. Service Manager, I'm coming right from the job site I'm going to be filthy. Let them know up front, and I can almost guarantee you they're going to be totally fine. So just make sure that you dress to impress or communicate with that hiring manager that you're going to be dirty and it's going to be a mess when you see me walk in the door. But most of the time, we're okay. Now, knowledge is that next part. And so knowledge is everything, right? You may not have the experience on an air conditioning interview to talk to me about superheat and subcooling and compressor ratios and understanding what superheat does and how a compressor fails and cooling towers and water treatment. I mean, just on and on and on, right? So what you know is what you learned here in class, and I'm going to talk about what you know in class. So really make sure that you understand that. Most of my interviews fail, and this is crazy because I've got people watching this, they're out there. They fail out on drawing the refrigeration cycle. The number one reason that a person ends up not getting a job is I'll go over here, you can come over here and look, and I'll draw a compressor. And I'll draw an arrow out and an arrow in. And I'll write discharge, suction, compressor, comp, and I'll say, go ahead and give me the complete refrigeration cycle. I want everything drawn, and they freeze. Well, that's not how my teacher wrote it. That's not how we learned it. I don't, oh my gosh, that was like 6 months ago. Well, 6 months ago, you should be able to nail all this stuff. And so what I'm looking for is that, because you got to remember, when you're in the trade and you're outside the classroom and you learned it in your laboratory, the compressor's not always in the same spot. It could be on the roof, it could be on the ground, it could be on a table. The condensing unit could be a long ways away, it could be a package in it. You never know, but the refrigeration cycle, it doesn't change. It's always the same. So make sure that you get in, you really learn this part, because I'm going to ask you about this. Now, you may do a written test. I don't like written tests because on the field, you're not writing stuff down, it's in your head. So the greatest thing to do is talk to somebody, have that oral interview, have that discussion with them, talk about the refrigeration cycle, see what they can draw. And then the second thing is, out of all of that, don't lie. That can actually hurt you. You could get into this and start making words up that make no sense. And as a hiring manager, I'll start to grill down on that to find out if you're going to eventually tell me the truth and say, you know what, I don't know, but I just want to learn it. Or you know what, they're going to say, hey, this is my story and I'm sticking to it. I've actually had a technician, an apprentice technician. I says, okay, tell me what superheat is. And he goes, it's really hot heat. Superheat. And he says, yeah, it's super hot. Like, no, that's not right. And he stuck by it instead of just saying, I don't remember that. Or, you know what, I forgot. That's okay, because there's a ton of stuff to know in our industry, so that's huge. So knowledge is going to be everything. So make sure that you get, before the interview, you read your books, you go out and you do a little bit of self-study, kind of go through some tests, go through some assignments, maybe even get a hold of the teacher and go, you know what, I've got an interview on Monday, can I come in on Friday and just kind of go through some stuff? It's been a while, and make sure that you keep yourself refreshed. So experience. Also an experience, and this is something for you, let's say that you work at McDonald's and you're at the Home of the Arches and all of your experience is working at McDonald's. I'm okay with that. Like if you're the fry cook and you got an award for the best fries and the hottest apple pies and you got a certificate, like be proud of that, because that is your experience. That's what you know. And to get to that level at your job takes a lot. You have to get trained. You probably have a test. The manager's been impressed with you. So be proud of the fact. If you're a forklift operator, then be the best darn forklift operator there is. If you've got tons of certificates, like let us know, because that tells me that you want to work to be the best tech you can be. And so that's really important to me. The second, or down here, fifth, is going to be tattoos and piercings. And this is always a touchy subject. If you have sleeved down your arm, that's cool, because I can put you in a long sleeve shirt and nobody's going to know. Now I have ink. All my ink is on my back. I know you look at me like, what? Yeah, all the ink I have is on my back. So I can wear a shirt and it's not a big deal. But if you're sleeved down here, down your arms, that's okay. If somewhere along the line you're like, well, I want to get more ink, don't get your knuckles tattooed. Don't get your face tatted up. Don't get your ears and your head and everything tatted up. Because honestly, you're here to make good money, and you could go before a customer or maybe a residential client, and they're going to be like, you know what? He really took care of me, but he scared me. Or I don't, you could have an 80-year-old lady that's like, I was really uncomfortable with Mike being there because his tattoo scared me. And you may be the nicest guy in the world, but unfortunately our industry is very appearance driven, so you've got to make sure that you look your best. You want to ink up, you got tons of places to ink up that you can do the legs, the knees, the feet, the toes, like I don't even care. As long as you keep that face clean and you don't write anything obscene across your knuckles, so when you're filling out the paperwork, it doesn't say the F-bomb across your knuckles. I mean, that's huge. So really make sure that you dress to impress. We can cover up the ink, it's not a big deal. The reason that I bring up piercings is because piercings are so important. There's a lot of guys out there that have got a nose ring, an ear, they might have a tongue piercing, they might have a lip ring, they could have somewhere else pierced, right? Crazy. But when you're out doing 460 volts, 230 volts, and you're diagnosing a system, and by accident you've held on to a compressor, like there's a compressor sitting here, and you have your other hand and you're diagnosing a wire and you get shocked and your body becomes a ground, those piercings will actually fry inside your body and it will begin to burn in your lips and everything that you have piercings. And it's really about safety. We want to make sure that you're safe, and we want to make sure you get home. So if you're going for the interview, make sure that the piercings and stuff come out. And especially if you get a job, like as soon as the job is over with and you're on your way home and you want to put the piercings back in, that's fine. But during the day, you're going to want to get all that stuff out, because it really, really, really hurts, because all the metal becomes a ground and it ends up inside your body and it hurts a lot. Your MVR, your DMV record, now is the time. So if you're watching this and you're like 3 or 4 months before you graduate, now is the time to go down to the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles, or the Motor Vehicle Department, however you call it, and go out and get your record cleaned up. I get so many times I'll be talking about this topic at a school and a hand goes up. And I'm like, okay, what? And he's like, oh, I got a DUI. Well, he just let the whole group know that he got a DUI. Like, that is nobody's business but your own. So if you think like, I wonder if that FTA, that failure to appear, cleared or not, go down, it's $5, have your record pulled, see what's on your DMV record, and get it cleaned up. Get an attorney and go, oh my God, I thought that I paid that ticket, now it's a bench warrant. Like, You don't want to find out when all of a sudden I'm trying to insure you and I'm getting you ready to go and you're hired, because I've had all of this be fantastic. I get all the way down to the MVR and I can't put you in a van. And I'm like, oh, dude, I was so excited to have you ready to go. And there's a failure to appear, or there's a bench warrant, or you've got tickets out there, or you've got too many cell phone tickets, because cell phones now are counting against you, or the seatbelt law. I mean, whatever it is, most insurance companies will either say yes or no, because there's HIPAA laws about privacy. Now, HIPAA is a privacy law, and insurance companies will usually say, he's good or she's bad. And I'll be like, why? I can't know, and the employer won't know either. It's either yes or no. So you want to make sure that you spend the time right now. You don't wait until you graduate from school, you're doing your job interview, you've got some debt to pay off, to find out that you've got an MVR that's really bad. Then you're like, oh my God, how do I pay the debt off? And what do? You go right back to your old job, and you never get into the job that you trained for. And that's horrible. We want you to be buying equipment, and we want you servicing units and changing filters. We want you to do that. So make sure you get this MVR, the DMV, cleaned up. Social media. I get a lot of people, like me, here's my social media, HVAC Reefer Guy. I get a lot of people that say, well, I don't have social media, so I don't really care. Or I'll get a lot of people that say, oh, I've got Facebook, but you can't see it because I've got it locked down tight. Well, that's not true, because what Facebook will do is it will lock down your content, but it will still leave your cover page and maybe your cover pictures and some of the pictures that you used as a cover. This is why it's so important. This is going to sound really dumb what I'm going to say. So let's say for whatever reason, there's a picture of you on the front of your Facebook, right? And you've got a picture and it says, I hate daisies, and you're ripping the heads off of daisies. Oh my God, I hate flowers. Urgh. And all of a sudden you're interviewing for a job, right, here in town, and their biggest account is a florist. Like, you wouldn't want that employer to go, oh my God, I can't hire Mike. He hates daisies. Like, as soon as he gets into the store, he's gonna be like, I'm killing it all. I'm gonna wipe it all out, right? But it's true. It's totally true. And let's say that you hate oranges. Well, I know, like here in Bakersfield and up in Visalia, they've got the cutie factory. They make those little oranges, and you're walking around stomping around, I hate cuties, and you're killing cuties. Well, that guy may go, well, I can't have them at the plant. That's my biggest account, so I guess I'm not gonna hire him. So go in and change your social media to something that's like, hey, this is my brother, and hey, you know what? I'm totally into him, or this is my mom, or maybe you're out camping somewhere and this is next to you in a pine tree. Like, change it. So when hiring managers get into looking at it, they're gonna be like, oh, this guy's the one, or this gal, she's on it. She's got the MVR, you know, it's got some tattoos. I can sleeve them out with a long sleeve shirt. Yeah, the piercings, and oh, you know, we worked all that out, and it's gonna be all good. Wages. Now, every area changes on the wages. Traditionally in Arizona, it's about 16 to 18 bucks. Northern California is gonna be a little higher. It could be 18 or 20 to 25 for an apprentice. Where I'm at right now in Bakersfield is probably gonna be in that 18 to 20 range for apprentice, maybe a little lower. It could be down to 16 for an apprentice. It really varies, and plus if you're union, it really is gonna vary depending on your hiring package. But bottom line is, you wanna make sure on the wages that you, and this is what I'm bringing this up, that you, guys and gals out there, you don't get taken advantage of. Right now, you need me more than I need you. You're probably looking at me going, what does that mean? Well, this is what it means. As an employer, I don't really need apprentices because I've got hundreds of them coming at my door, and I've got, you know, I can pick from one, I can pick from two. Oh, you didn't work out, I'll pick another one. Right now, you need me, which means you need me. When you hit that 5-year mark, it's like 5 years or 3-year mark, all of a sudden it shifts. Now I need you more than you need me, because now you've got your pick. You know, if all of this is great and you're cruising down the road and you're making great money and you're keeping the reputation up and everybody's like, oh my God, you want to hire Mike. Mike is the one to be working for you. Then all of a sudden it's a no-brainer, right? I want to hire Mike, and now I've got to negotiate with Mike to get him to work at my company. So really make sure on the wages side, you don't get taken advantage of. Like in Arizona, it's a lot of commission. So we have lower rates and we have commission based. Or you could be like, go to a company that says, oh, I've got a company truck, but you're gonna have to pay for gas. Or I don't offer phones, so we're gonna use your phone and you have to pay for your own plan. I mean, there's all sorts of crazy stuff out there. So really make sure, yeah, you're like, really? Yeah, really make sure that when you're doing that, you know exactly what you're getting by maybe ask them for an offer letter. Like, I want to know exactly when my benefits start, what my wages are going to be, you know, what's the on-call schedule like, is there a tool purchase program, is there a retirement plan, when does my medical, dental, you know, vision start. You want to get all that stuff in writing, because what he's thinking and you're thinking could be two different things. All of a sudden 90 days shows up and you're waiting for medical to start, and he's like, oh, I don't do medical for at all. Like, you're just gonna have to take the Obama plan. You're like, oh my God, that's crazy. So really make sure that all of that stuff is ready to go. So we have appointment time, appearance, knowledge, experience, tattoos and piercings, MVR, social media. You guys know all about that. All right, we're good there. Wages you know all about, and this 45,000 has been sitting out here. 45,000. Now the reason I say that is because this is the approximate cost to put a tech into a van. Okay, for example, a Nissan NV 2500, the newest vans out, service bodies, they're around $27,000 to $31,000, depending on your fleet size and how you buy. It could be as high as $33,000. It's going to cost me another $10,000 to fill it. So by the time I get ladders, recovery units, torches, parts, vacuum pumps, ropes, hoses, dryers, contactors, nuts and bolts, you could be looking at another 8,000 or so, maybe 6,000. And then the training time, because as an apprentice, I can't have you go out and hand you a set of keys and go, bye. You don't even know how to get around a rooftop. You don't know how to move around a rooftop. You have no idea what's going on. And companies will get and have you do a ride along for a long period of time. And that's our way of finding out, one, what type of tech you are, how do you move through your day, are you a slow worker, are you a fast worker? But that's in that 45,000 range. Now some companies could be higher, but on average it's around 45,000. So there's a huge cost to getting you into a truck, into a van, and that's in that 45,000 range. Now, the reason that you may get up to a van and go, oh my God, this thing is all packed and ready to go. Like, what is he talking about, 45,000? You may move into a van that's a 1990 that's 300,000 miles on it, because honestly, I'm gonna take care of the journeyman, so I may move him into a brand new ride, and I might move you into a used ride. So I have a couple of things that I like to say when I think about that. I judge the man by the van and take pride in your ride. Judge the man by the van and take pride in your ride. And to me, that's huge, because my very first vehicle was a 1963 Chevy single cab truck, 3 on the tree, which meant you shift like this, that had no like hydraulics. It was like my left leg was freaking huge from pushing down on the spring and trying to shift, right? I didn't take care of the truck and I got yelled at. And this guy says, take pride in your ride, Mike, and I judge the man by the van. And that's huge. So if you get a 300,000 mile van, wash it, clean it, get it ready to go. Get home on Saturday and pull everything out. Clean up the inside, put it all back, and make it your van. And the reason I say that is service managers look to see how you perform in your first year. You may cruise down the road and keep getting raises and get moved into a new van because you took his 300,000 mile van, his piece of crap, and you detailed it and you kept it so clean. He goes, man, Mike deserves a new ride. He took care of the old Betty. He took care of it. And you know what? I can imagine what he's going to do with a brand new ride. If you treat the van like crap, you're going to most likely stay in a piece of crap vehicle because he's not going to go out and spend $33,000 on you to put you in a new ride. So probably any questions about this? Does this make sense? Makes sense? Yeah, the instructors are like, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So we're going to erase this. because we got a little more. We're going to switch some hands here. So one of the things that I like to tell you is as you go into your first year of employment, there's going to be some things that you're going to see and not see. Now, one of the things that you're going to see are long hours. And so a lot of guys think, oh, I'm going into the field, I'm out of school, I'm used to working 40 hours a week, whatever. 40 hours a week is going to be at a university, at a hospital, or school district. But if you go into the field, most days start around, get a pin here that works pretty good, starts around 7 o'clock in the morning and ends most day around 5, right? No. That's when dispatch goes home at 5, and then there's usually an on-call phone, and if you're on call, you could be out working 12, 13, 14, 15 hours a day. And that's normal, and that's okay, because remember, you went to air conditioning school, you did all this cool stuff, oh my gosh, I want to be a tech, I want to be a tech, I want to make money. Now you've got the ability to make huge amounts of money, but to do that, there's going to be some overtime. Okay, there's going to be some OT. There's going to be weekends. There's going to be holidays. Now, I used to do supermarket refrigeration back in the day, and when I did supermarket refrigeration, I don't know why, but somehow the birth of Jesus always meant a compressor is going to go out on a rack somewhere, and I'm out on Christmas Day changing a compressor on a rack. Now, I don't know why that happens. I think it's just one of those, things where it just happens to happen, because the supermarket is jam-packed, there's tons of people shopping, case doors are being opened and closed, racks are being pushed to the maximum on the refrigeration, and a compressor goes out. Now, will you end up working on the holidays? Yeah, you're going to end up working on the holidays. But remember, you're not going to work every holiday. You're not going to work every Christmas. And the life that you're going to lead from being in the trade is going to outweigh missing a Christmas day. For me, I have nothing more than a high school diploma. I don't even have college background when I went into air conditioning school. When I got into the trade, there was no such thing as an EPA cert. We didn't have to recover refrigerant. We could vent at will. When I started in 1986, when I got into the EPA part of it, we only had to have a type 1, type 2. There was no such thing as a universal. So you didn't have to have any of that either. So the trade has progressed. For me, when I started in the trade, all the thermostats were mercury thermostats. Now everything is digital, everything is Wi-Fi. It's all Wi-Fi enabled off of a smartphone or a tablet or anything like that. I mean, it's crazy how far the trade has progressed, and the money goes with it. So you've picked an amazing career. I promise you've picked an amazing career. So make sure that you understand that you're going to work some hours, and that the service managers, they know that you're working those hours, and they watch and they go, wow, Mike's been working a lot of hours. You know what, Susie in dispatch, let's get Mike home early today. He's been really busting out. He's been busting it out. Let's get him home early on a Friday. And and I used to get phone calls like, hey, go home for the day at noon. We'll pay you the whole day. But the rest of the time is shop time because you busted it out last week. Well, when I did that, that's how I got into a service manager role, because my service manager was watching me do more than what I should have done on the job, and I just got promoted and promoted and promoted, and here I am service managing. Actually, I'm a safety manager for a huge company that operates in multiple states. And I get to come and meet guys like you and talk to you in your classes, and that's what we're doing today. So really make sure that you understand you're going to be working some long hours, but the money is going to be insanely huge. I'd ask to see if there's any questions. So if there are questions, now would be the time to stop. Don't stop. But now would be the time to stop the video and talk to your instructors and find out what's going on. So you can go ahead and stop now. So welcome back. So the last thing to remember is about your interview process is your school. Your school. You're in trade school. And when employers show up, now you know when employers show up because they almost show up in a truck with a cross box, or they've got a fully loaded extended cab Ford 1-ton crew cab, like $100,000 rig. Like they're not putting an apprentice in a $100,000 rig. So the service manager, the owners, that's what they will show up in. So when you see them pull in the driveway, your interview actually starts right then and there. The number one thing that I see when I pull into a trade school is everybody having fun at break and the swearing and gosh knows what they're going to talk about. And I'm walking through the hall or I'm walking through the parking lot to get to where I'm going to do this topic that I'm doing here with you. And I remember, and then all of a sudden the students fill into the classroom and I can see those guys. In my head, I don't know why, I'm already not hiring them. So you want to make sure that when that truck or van shows up in the parking lot, like the interview starts right there. The second thing is I will go to the instructors and I will go to the school and I'll be like, so tell me who's your best, who's your worst, you know, I'm looking to hire, I'm looking for somebody that's not too much into theory but's a hard worker. I mean, I'll kind of change up what I'm looking for depending on the need, right? What happens is that as I'm looking about the people there to fill in the need, I look to the instructors in the school, and the instructors will never give a recommendation to somebody they wouldn't hire. So I will not hire a student, or excuse me, I will not hire an apprentice that has not completed the program that I'm partnering with. If all of a sudden it's like, all right, Mike hired me, I'm out. Like, no, I'll let you go right within the first 90 days or employment. If I find out you didn't go to school and complete the program and graduate, you're out. Because that tells me as an employee, you may not complete the task that I'm giving you. So I have to make sure that you totally complete the program. I may be asking for attendance records. So if you come and go and you just check in, oh, this is great, I don't need to show up, I aced the test and I'm good. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. So attendance records, recommendations from the staff, how you are outside in the parking lot when I show up in my truck, all of that is part of the interview process. And I hate to tell you that, but it's just totally true. Lastly, before we call it a day, like I said, an amazing career. I travel in 10 states and I'm around all the time. Utah, Nevada, Arizona, California. I was just in Orlando, Florida. I'll be in Texas next week. I mean, I go all over the place doing this same topic, and I also do business related stuff. You can have any career you want. You'll be able to make more money than you ever thought. You're gonna have the best life, but make sure that you reach out, you keep the people that are in your classroom. So I'm going like this, right? Look around you. Like that's your HVAC family that you're gonna graduate with. Like those are your connections, because as they move forward into jobs, you wanna keep them close by. And you're like, hey Mike, I'm kind of looking for a job. Oh man, you wanna come over to Bakersfield air conditioning, because they, oh my God, they rock. They get, I'll get a hold of the service manager and I'll give a recommendation. That's what you want, because as service managers, we're looking for recommendations. So as you move forward in your career, the people that you're sitting next to in your classroom, they're your family, they're your HVAC family, they're your connections to opportunities, and keep them close, man, just keep them close, because I mean, that's all part of networking, and that's really what it's about, is networking. So if you have any questions about this, you can get a hold of me through hvacreeferguy@gmail.com. So it's hvacreefer, R-E-F-E-R, guy, G-U-Y, @gmail.com. And I'll answer any questions that I can about it. But it's pretty much the same. In every state that I've gone to, what we spoke about here today is totally the same. Everybody's looking for apprentices, and apprentices are looking for a job. So as always, work safe, be safe. Be good humans, take care of the people around you, wrap your arms around the ones that need some help and need some support. Sorry for making you looking at this, and go be a good person.